All right. Welcome, everyone. I am really excited and humbled to have you all here tonight for this inaugural pilot call, the Kins Domain Settlement Development Call. And I'm so glad to have my dear sister Ariane here because her and I were having a conversation the other day, and for some reason in the middle of our call, the idea for this call popped into my head. And I was like, wow, we can, and David, I'm really glad that you're here, and Daniel and Vlad. Just seeing all the settlement development projects, things that are going on, people really working to create settlements, and things are happening. And we are in a very, very unique position to facilitate the connection between founders and people creating settlements and people who want to join and learn more. Or so there's a lot that can happen here. I'm really excited to do this first call and see how it goes. This is just something that I've wanted to do for years, right? Like I said, we have this unique position to help facilitate this connection, and I think it's a great service that the foundation can provide. And I just want to share a little note for anyone who has seen. We launched the 2026 annual fund this week. We've gotten a bunch of support so far, but this is basically a fundraiser helping support my transition into full-time work for the Anastasia Foundation, not being a part-time executive director anymore, a full-time one to continue doing more things like this. Um, and so if you guys appreciate what we do, I'm just dropping a link to the fundraiser in there for anybody to check out when you have the time. But anyway, we'll get into the call. So how this is gonna work is first we're going to David will be presenting. So David Andrews from his beautiful settlement in Wisconsin. All of our presenters will have some time to talk about their settlement, their projects, and then Q&A after, right? So you guys can ask questions and learn more about, the projects, see how to get connected. And that's kind of the idea. So presentation, Q&A, and then maybe at the end, we'll probably have some time, like a, group conversation kind of thing. We'll see how this goes. But that's kind of the idea. Um, oh, one more person joining the waiting room. And yeah, so I'll kind of take a back seat here. I'm just here to help facilitate, but I think we can probably get started. So, oh, real quick, I would love to do this before we get started. If you guys can drop in the chat where you are located, I would love to see all the places that everybody is joining in from because we've got 50 people here roughly. So we've got my good brother Lenny, New York City, Mark in Santa Fe, New Mexico, Minneapolis. Oh my God, there's too many. Minnesota, Rhode Island, Arizona, California, Hawaii, Alaska, New Hampshire, Chicago, and Wisconsin. You're bilocating. I love that. Michigan, Australia, Georgia, Ontario, Canada, Toronto, Canada, Oregon, Alberta, Canada, San Diego, California, British Columbia, Eastern Canada, New York. We're all North America. I love it. It's too late for Europe. Um, California, all over California, New York, Louisiana, very nice. Washington, New York again, LA, Texas, Canada, Washington State, I assume, Alberta, Canada. We got a lot of Alberta love in here today. I love that. Um, Beautiful. Humboldt County, California, upstate New York, Wisconsin. And I'm in North Carolina. Think I'm the only North Carolina representative here today. I love to see that. Thank you everybody for making the time to be here on this truly special call. This is fulfillment of longtime dreams of mine, and just glad that you're all here to be a part of it. So without any further ado, David, I would love to have you speak to the group. And I'm gonna make sure that you can. Where, David, where are you? I'm so lost. There's so many people. There he is. Okay. We're going to make you a co-host, and we'll just do this. We'll change the view. Um, oh my God, I'm so lost. There's too many people. Okay. David, can you hear me, brother?
Yeah, hey Gabriel, can you hear me okay?
Hey. Yes, sir.
All right.
I want to set the view to speaker. Can everybody see David there? Okay, awesome. All right. David, yeah, feel free to take it away, my friend. Thank you for being here on this first call. And I want to just say the progress that you're making is truly inspiring for myself and I think for a lot of people. So I'm just excited for everybody to learn more about your project. And yeah, take it away.
Yeah, awesome. Thanks, Gabriel. And so awesome to see everybody here tonight and to share a little bit about what I've been working on in the last year, actually 2 years in the making, since, reading through all the books and getting inspired to actually get land. It's been a lifelong dream, actually, to purchase land. It just was always on the back burner, raised my family, did the corporate job for many years, and eventually found a way to get out of the city and went down to Florida for a few years and then decided it was time to get a piece of the motherland, as Anastasia likes to say. And I grew up in Minnesota. I was born in Michigan and spent a few months there before moving to Minnesota. So I feel like Wisconsin is kind of right in the middle. So it's perfect. I searched for land for about 2 years. The last year, more intensely here in the upper Midwest, and was able to walk on dozens of parcels of land. So the land search process alone took well over a year of very active searching, a lot of online searching, a lot of detailed analysis, and working through things like where can I actually start a kin domain settlement? Because a lot of rural land does not have anywhere to subdivide a parcel. Let's say you got 40 acres and the minimum lot size is 20 acres. So you could split it into two. Or maybe it's 10 acres and you could split it into four. So this has been a journey of finding a county in some state that I was wanting to live in that was near my family and where I grew up and had some four seasons, right? And all the things that I love about the North. And so I was able to locate a county in Wisconsin. It's Rusk County, Rusk, Rusk. So Rusk County is, if anyone wants to look it up or know where we're located here, it has more relaxed zoning requirements, I guess you might say, and they allow you to subdivide down to 1 acre. So that's easily fits within the 2.5 acre, minimum for a kin domain. And so that was really the driving force behind kind of looking in this specific area. And there's other counties in Minnesota that have similar 2.5 acre minimum or 5 acre minimum. And I'm sure there's more counties. Definitely didn't search them all. But that's probably step one was just going through ordinances, zoning, searching online for where could this actually even be possible without having to get a variance and change the zoning laws and a lot more work. So that's where I zeroed in on, and I found actually a really awesome realtor in the process of looking for land who helped me just go and walk on properties. And this guy was so eager to be out and walk on properties with me. And he just had a different perspective. He would ask questions, he would point out things that I didn't notice. And so that was extremely helpful in learning about the process. So for anyone looking to develop a kin domain settlement or even just have their own land and their own kin domain, it's such a long journey as far as learning about land itself and just kind of what are all the rules and how does it all work. So anyway, I don't make the story too long, but basically it was last February. It was minus 10 degrees. There was snow on the ground deep, and I'm up here to go to the Organic Farm Conference in La Crosse, Wisconsin, because I was still living in Florida at the time. And I had literally one day to go look at properties with my realtor. And we looked at two in the kind of early part of the day. We didn't see anything we liked. We sat down for lunch, and he has this total brainstorm out of nowhere. There was a parcel that was too big that I couldn't afford. He said, "What if they just sold you half of it?" And I said, "Sure, that'd be cool." So he gets on the phone with the realtor, calls the realtor. She answers. They have a conversation. She said, "Oh yeah, we already have it priced and we have it split into two options. We just hadn't listed it yet." And he's like, "Oh, can we look at it?" "Yeah, right now." So we hop in the car, we drive down there. I have like an hour before sunset, right? So there's not much time. And we start trudging through the woods, deep snow, looking at this land, and it's really interesting well, as much as you can tell in the winter, right? It's on a small lake. There's two or three ponds. There's rolling hills. There's woods. There's a big open pasture. And there was this old barn foundation wall in a partially built small section of this barn. I thought, well, that could be a facility for equipment, for meetings, for gatherings. I could build on that. Okay, that's looked cool. There was a well already put in. The guy had cattle here, so he had dug a well for the cattle, and he had also run electric power to the site, which when you're looking for land, that can sometimes be 20, 30, $40,000 just to get a power line. And I had done enough research with the program called Living the Off-Grid Dream with Jamie Friesen out of British Columbia. If anyone else, I think some people in this group have participated in his courses. I took his course and joined his VIP calls. And I had an inkling that living off-grid is awesome. However, it can be very challenging with solar. He talks about all the challenges with getting enough solar power and other things. So I'm like, well, it already has power. It already has a well. That's a start in the right direction. So I walked the property for an hour. We went all around and I said, this is it. I put an offer in the next day while I'm at the farm conference and got it accepted. And I had already pre-qualified for financing. So the other big thing that I wanted to share is there is farm, and Gabriel and I did another talk on this that will be available for anyone
Yep.
to watch more details. But I was able to get financing through farm credit. And the process is you just start a farm, right? You're a new beginning farmer. I put together a plan to start a farm, which I want to do. It's part of the plan for the settlement is have a small farm. And then everyone who joins here and purchases a parcel and has a kin domain, literally you're a small scale farmer. You could use the same financing if you needed financing. And they finance small properties, large properties. It doesn't have to have a house. You could have a house, not a house, just land. All options are available and they have some decent terms. They're awesome to work with. They're all across the whole country. They're regional. So I was able to get financing through farm credit. And while I was searching for land, I had to have a plan for how was I going to live on this land when I got here. So for anyone who wants to start a kin domain, right, and you're going to get raw land, if it's not close to where you're living, you got to find a way to move on to that land. And so my goal here for the settlement is everyone who purchases a property, hopefully, will have the means to actually move on to the land. And one of the things I learned from the Russian settlements and some of the articles they've written and the challenges they've had is that many of the settlements don't have as much or don't have many people living full time. It's like maybe 20% or 40%, right? It's been a challenge. And
Yeah, this is a big thing. I just want to jump in because
yeah,
it's such a big topic that people probably wouldn't be aware of, but a lot of the settlements don't have, the entire population of the settlement living there full time. People sometimes are transitioning over a period of months or years to living full time. So there's that, sometimes it's 50%, sometimes it's less or more, but yeah, it's an interesting thing.
yeah, absolutely. So I really wanted to be able to demonstrate that I'm able to do this. And so I bought a cargo trailer down in Florida, I parked it in my driveway and started renovating it. And thankfully, I have enough building skills. I've been doing projects my whole life, and I was able to figure out all the nuances of how to build a tiny home out of a cargo trailer. So I completely finished the inside of where I'm actually sitting right now in my tiny house here on the land, and was able to get it almost all the way done while I was looking for the land. And then my house sold in Florida, and I bought the land and hooked up my tiny home to my truck and just drove it here. Right. And there was no access to this property. There's no road, there's no driveway. So I had to call the neighbor who lives on the parcel, or not lives, who owns the parcel next to me. And there's this really old, narrow driveway that previous owner had put in. And I said, can I access my land through your property for a few months while I build a road? And they were super awesome. They said yes. And so I literally just opened the gate. They gave me permission, and I drove my tiny home down this really sketchy, narrow. I didn't know if I was getting through or not. And I made it. I parked my tiny home, and that was May 1st. So I've only been doing this really for 8 months, and it's definitely been an interesting journey. And so step one was to get access. So I have built a road. It's all the way from the town road all the way back to the lake, basically. It's about a half mile long. and there will be 7 parcels available on the east side of the road, stretching from the town road all the way back toward where the lake is. And
And
they'll
David,
all
real
be,
quick, the
yeah,
total size that you have there, it's 68 acres?
yeah, 68 acres is the total. It's multiple parcels. And the way it's set up to do a certified survey map, I can get 4 parcels out of one, and then I can get 3 out of the other one. I have to do some rearranging. But the land survey company that I've contracted with is about to start, and they're going to survey the property to have the certified survey maps and everything will be recorded at the county before the parcels will be then available for sale. It looks like Lenny's got a question.
Yeah, go for it.
Hey David, my question is, you got the land through the farm credit. How does that translate? And their intention, I understand, I imagine, would be you using that land for farming purposes. How does that translate to you then subdividing it and starting a community?
Yeah, because so you can do multiple, right? Because as long as I'm still farming, I mean, they don't really have a thorough process after you've acquired the loan, right? So as long as you're going to do some farming, you can take part of that land and do something else with it, right? So I'll still reserve a section for farming, right? A small section, because I'm not going to do farming like it's going to be very unique, and I'll show you a little bit about it in a minute.
Would
But
that be your personal kinsdomain or designated parcel for farming purposes?
yeah, great question. I don't know yet exactly how that will work. Ideally, it would be somewhat of like a community experience where anyone else who wanted extra land to farm outside of their own kin domain, we might pool our resources and work it together. That's a possibility as a business. So I have multiple business ideas as well for the settlement because, it would be awesome to have a few people that want to start the settlement with me because I mean we're calling it a settlement, but it's literally a settlement of one person. I'm here by myself. So technically it's
Pioneer.
so brand new that a few founding members, a core team of people who want to not only start a kin domain on their own, but are also interested in potentially working in a business that would be also operating on part of land. I have extra acres left after the first wave of parcels are subdivided. They'll be able to have a business running. And part of that is to have the farm and the agrotourism, the retreat center, wellness retreat center, the lodging, kind of all be part of one business. And then as that could grow over time, more people could potentially work in that business who are living in the community. So that's kind of where I'm at right now. So the stage I'm at right now is I have purchased the property, I've hired a survey company to do the surveys and to split the parcels, and there'll be 7 available with one outlot they call it, a small outlot at the very end, which would be left for the community to be able to have access to the small lake that's here. So literally everyone would have lake access, like to put in a kayak or a canoe. It's a small lake. It's like 45 acres. It's fairly shallow. It's like 10 feet, 8 to 10 feet deep. So it's not a big recreational lake, but it's a beautiful nature habitat. And that would be available. There's also a lot of nature trails. I've been developing trails since I got here, and there's some beautiful areas just to stroll and contemplate and be in nature. So, especially now, the winter is absolutely magical. We got a huge snowstorm and everything's been covered in white. All the trees have snow on them. It's been absolutely magical the last week. Um, but the next phase will be hopefully finding a few people who want to be initial sort of starting point and they have resources to, set up their kin domain, purchase a parcel, bring a home, a tiny home, build a home, however they do it and get started. And then, if possible, if they're also interested in a business venture, I do have a business plan that I'm working on and kind of going down this process of creating an opportunity for some income on the property as well. So, the property that is I'm talking about is located in Rusk County, Wisconsin. It's about 5 miles south of a little town called Bruce. It's right between the Flambeau and the Chippewa rivers. So there's two rivers here that come down and join in just south of me, about 10, 15 miles. And it's a beautiful area of nature, rivers, hills. The Blue Hills are here, a lot of national forests and county forests available, a lot of lakes. So it's a rugged kind of rural area of Wisconsin, not super populated. There's no big cities super close, although Eau Claire is only an hour away. That's the largest town. Um, Chippewa Falls and Eau Claire, and then the Twin Cities of Minneapolis and St. Paul are just about 2 hours away, 2 to 2.5, depending on where you're going in the city. And so it's really not too remote. I didn't want to be so far away, 4 or 5 hours from a city. It's too hard for people to get resources and so on. So that's
Yep.
kind of the gist of where the process has gone so far, Gabriel. It's just kind of where we're at. And I could share a little bit about the business idea if that's something anyone would be interested in. I could share a few slides that I had put together just to kind of give a
Absolutely.
vision for what we're hoping to build here. And when I say we, it's me plus all the potential people that I know are already kind of decided to be here. They just don't know it yet. And so it's a collaborative effort. And I just thought I would do is I'll just share my screen. I think,
And David, real quick, I have remember that article I posted with all the photos and everything that you had shared previously? I just
yeah,
want to let you know I have a bunch of the photos of your land and I can share them at any time. It looks like you're comfortable sharing your screen as well.
yeah, if
I've got
that's
photos and
okay.
I can share them too.
Beautiful.
Yep.
Okay, so I'm just gonna move this over here and put this back on there. Okay. So this is just a few slides that I put together as part of Jamie Friesen's Living the Off-Grid Dream course. He offers some support for creating a business plan and a presentation. And these are some of the ideas. I've tentatively named it Majestic Life Farm, growing food that feeds your soul. This is part of the business concept now. And I won't go through all the details here, but there's a vision about holistic farming, healing, growing natural food, permaculture, syntropic farming, all kinds of awesome ways of growing food naturally. Um, the values that I've put together so far, which is just for the business, are the courage, creativity, collaboration, and consciousness. And these are just things that came to me as how I want to envision a group of people working together. That it takes a lot of courage to come out here and do this. It's part of my calling, I guess, that I was capable to, like, I've lived here now for 8 months completely by myself. So I've embraced solitude, but I'm also looking for collaborators, right? And wanting people to join in. So every day there's some challenge. Like I woke up the other day and I turned on the faucet of my sink and there was no water. And I'm like, okay, frozen something, right? So I went in and found it and fixed it and thawed it out and we got water back and like stuff like that's happening all the time, right? When you're not on the main services of a city or town. Takes a lot of creativity. Just every day making the landscape kind of be the creative zone, right? I love what all the things from the books about creating a space of love. And then I put in consciousness because the more consciously aware we are, the easier it is for people to get along, right? If we are observing ourselves and we're aware of how we're interacting with the world, it takes away a lot of conflict. When we get so stuck in our programming or our ego or all the things we want, it's easy to start having conflict. And so that's one of the values that I'm hoping to uh, expand as people join is that we would focus on consciousness. So with that, just a few more here, and no, why it's not going to advance. There we go. So one of the things I want to do in the farming is syntropic farming. It's from two Greek words together. It's nourishment together. It comes from Ernst Grosch. He created this whole system of farming. It's basically agroforestry, but a kind of a unique twist on agroforestry. And I just love the concept. I did a deep dive course with Scott Gallant and have already started. I hired him as a consultant, so I have a whole plan for how to get started. And that could be a way to start getting some food on the farm. And here's just a couple thoughts, things that we would grow. Obviously, greenhouses, hopefully underground built greenhouses, permaculture, some pick your own garden paths, specialty crops, nothing commercial, right? Just natural food. I mean, nothing chemical, right? Commercial meaning we would potentially sell some food out of this, but it could also just be for people to eat and share. Nutrient dense crops. I have a whole variety of ideas around this, but nothing has been developed yet. And then the value add products and services be where the income comes in to do whether it's farm to table meals, farm stays, glamping, lodging, workshops, tours, wellness retreat. All of these are part of the plan down the road. And these are just a small list of some of the healing modalities. I think people getting them out of the city. So we're 2 hours from the major metro. There's like three some million people there. So it's not a long drive to start attracting people out of the city and giving them some of these access to some of these things they maybe haven't done a lot of and doing it in a natural setting in nature where there's beautiful surroundings, it's peaceful, gives them a taste of what it could be like, and then maybe they'll start reading the books, maybe they'll take a class, maybe they'll start meditating, whatever it might be, so that we could all hopefully expand this consciousness that we're experiencing, right, and kind of create this new civilization that Anastasia writes about. And then the other pieces, there's a lot of nature activities that can be done in the area. So also getting people out of the city to enjoy some of these activities, whether it be the hiking, biking, stand-up boarding, paddleboarding, kayaking, all these wonderful things that can be done in nature in the area. And there's some absolutely beautiful rivers and hikes and things I've already discovered. I haven't had a chance to do a lot because mostly I've been just working since I got here. Um, but there are lots of cool things in the area. And then some of the lodging could either be glamping sites or four-season cabins. I already have meeting space because I have a barn I'll show you a picture of in a moment. And it's just a matter of building out some of the facilities to get some revenue coming in from lodging that can help fund expansion, right? Because the idea would be to get eventually more land, more subdivision, continue this and have the community be not just here on this property, but all surrounding in Rusk County, where there literally could be hundreds of kin domains because there's plenty of land in the area. The If we do it once here, we'll be able to repeat it in the same county because we already know it works. Um, and then some on-site programs as well. And then here's a photo of my currently Amish built barn that's available now for meeting space. It's not very well done yet, but eventually it'll have a bathroom in it with restrooms and meeting space. Hopefully get a concrete floor or some kind of solid surface floor in there. And it'll be a shelter, a meeting space for workshops. You can see it's pretty large. Um, and it'll be a start. And then from there to build other lodging and other aspects to go along with it. So I can just stop the share right there. And I guess at this stage, Gabriel, happy to answer questions or, I could share other things if there's anything else people want to
Yeah. I'll
hear
share
about.
my screen with like pictures of your land and things, and you can field some questions. I know Stefan sent in a question earlier. He asked, "Do you have a vetting process in place? And if so, what does it entail?"
No.
I
Don't.
love it.
Right now, there's really been only a few people have kind of sparked a little interest, so I have no idea. For the most part, I feel like the energies of the space and what we're creating here um, will attract the right people, and we'll start a dialogue and see where we go.
Beautiful. I can't see the chat right now. Hold up. Can
Let's
I see the chat? To
get
confirm, is it fully vegan? Also, how much per acre from Chloe?
Oh, yeah, I don't have any plans to create any kind of rules, I guess you might say.
Hmm.
So, if someone wants to be vegan or eat meat or do whatever they like, I'm not interested in trying to control people. So that's not of interest to me at all personally. Others might want a community where there's nobody eating, certain foods or whatever. But for me personally, I just can't really go there. It's just not my style. It's not what I want to do. So my intention is there will be very few, if any, rules. This is going to be people who are self-sovereign, who buy their own piece of property, build their own house, come and go as they please, do their own thing. And then we can create awesome community activities. We can work together, not work together. There's no rules. It's going to be based on consciousness and people who have the ability to stay self-aware and manage themselves. Because once we govern ourselves, we don't need rules. Governments put a lot of rules in place because people do stupid things and people hurt each other and all kinds of other crazy stuff. So they got out of hand, and now we have so many rules we don't know what to do. Everybody.
I love it.
So I don't know if that
Thank you.
answers the question or not, but that's just a little on my philosophy.
I think it's good. Um, Beautiful. Yeah, I was just going through some photos here. It's truly a beautiful piece of land you have there.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, thanks for showing those. Like, wow, look at that place.
Yeah, look at that
Forget
beautiful
what some of the
place.
photos look like now that it's winter. So someone
And this
asked,
is that's
uh,
where David is right now in the
yeah,
tiny
I'm
house
living
then.
in that little trailer right there. That's it.
Yeah.
That's where and I got a wood stove in it, and it's like blistering hot. It's like 80 degrees right now. So I'm toasty warm. Someone asked who the contact in British Columbia that I worked with. So it's a program called Living the Off-Grid Dream, and the person who hosts it is Jamie Friesen. He's all over social media. He runs a lot of ads on Facebook and other places. But if you just look up Living the Off-Grid Dream, Jamie Friesen, I'm sure you'll find him. He's great. He's a great
Beautiful.
dude. I've been on VIP's calls with him and chatted with him a bunch, and he's awesome. He just shares everything. He tells you everything, what they're doing, how they're doing it, gives you all the documents. It's a great program. I know there's a few others on here who've completed it. So
So again, one of the big um, pros of the land that you're on and the county that you're in is that you can subdivide down to 2.5 acres for the parcels, right? So like future expansion and all that. That is a big thing, as you were saying. We had that call, you and I, and apparently that's quite a large obstacle in the United States, is being able to subdivide actually to the 2.5 acre size.
yeah, absolutely. And the reason I'm only able to start with seven is partly because of certified survey maps. So if you have a parcel, you can only do four, and then you have to wait. There's a waiting period to do more. I don't have all the details yet, but also for the retreat center and the farm, I'm hoping that there'll be enough land reserved for that. And then if that starts to work and we have some other investors maybe who want to go in, purchasing additional land in the area then where there's no business on, it's all kin domains, right? And the next one's all kin. So then they can also come and enjoy and participate in activities, work on the farm, other things, right? So that's partly why there's only so few for the start. But the vision I have is much bigger where there's literally hundreds of people living in this rural area, all under a whole different way of operating.
Definitely. Do we have more questions for David? Anybody interested in speaking with? Okay, we've got some more. Consider drafting deed restrictions for the part. I don't know if that's a question. It looks more like a comment. David, do you see those in the chat here?
I'm just
We got a question from Fran, question from Lisa.
drafting deed restrictions for the parcel for you. Trucking businesses. Yeah. Well, hopefully no one in this group will do any of those things. But yes, there's a potential for some of that. But again, I'm not planning to list these parcels for sale on the marketplace. Like it's designed to be sold to people that I know. Hopefully someone on this call or other calls, right, where we've had a chance
That's
to
all right.
and get to know each other. Um, yeah, hopefully
Yeah,
everyone Have good neighbors, yeah, for sure. Do you have the property title or do you need to have No, I have property title. Yeah, it's all been titled in my name. If you look up in Rusk County and you search my name, you'll find the land. There's 5 parcels here already, and then we're creating more.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's a
Lisa
question
said,
from
how do you
Lisa.
assure some people won't sell their parcel? Yeah, that's an interesting question.
It is, and that's been one of the challenges in figuring out, obviously, before these are, actually implemented. Um, so there might be some clauses like that. There may be a clause where we would say something like, ideally, these are purchased in perpetuity, right? That's the whole idea. Pass it on to your children. There's no guarantee
Hmm.
the children are going to have the same philosophy as the parents, right? But there could be a clause potentially that opportunity to purchase, like first opportunity to purchase would be someone in the community, so they could sell
Yeah.
it back to the community and then resell it to somebody else, right?
I know some of the communities in Russia, they have like membership agreements and they vary in scope and things like that. But one of the clauses being like if someone sells their land to leave the community, that the community just buys it back, right?
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
yeah,
Land
that's a
first
it's a
clause,
great
first right to
protection.
buy. Yeah, that's
Yep.
exactly it.
All right. Any way to protect the parcels legally? A lot of questions here, yeah. People are wondering generally how they can contact you, David. What would be the best way?
Oh,
Is
for
it
sure. Yeah.
Telegram, email?
Feel free to reach out on Telegram. I'm in the Minnesota. There's a Minnesota group. There's a Wisconsin group. Um, Contact via Telegram is easy. Um, and all my contact information is already there, so you can just click on it and send me a message.
Yep. I am gonna put your link to your Telegram
Perfect, right in the chat. See, you're
right
one of
there.
the people. I don't have a.
So anyone who's not on Telegram, highly suggest getting on there as well. We've got a bunch of groups on there, a lot of chat and everything. Um,
Yeah, and I
great
also see
messaging
Gabriel,
platform.
Tristan added, have you looked into land patent? I would love to do land patents. I have looked into it a little bit, but it gets quite intense. It looks like Anna and Chris are also have their hand raised. We'll get to you. But I haven't researched it enough to know this the step by step, but I have resources, I have contact information. Yeah, obviously you have to have a backup plan and there's a lot to it, but yeah, I would love to do that at some point. How about Anna and Chris? I see your hand was raised.
Yeah, I love what you're doing, and yeah, thank you for sharing all this. And it just looks like amazing, beautiful property. And my question is like, based on our own experience of people with communities, and we've also been doing a lot of research into it, and just listening to other people talk about people who have gone through the process of trying to start communities and the challenges that they've had. And one of the big things that come up is conflict resolution. And I'm wondering if you're planning on doing anything of like even basic training or having some sort of system in place so that when conflict does come up, that you can resolve it and just people are on the same page with working through conflict because yeah, I feel when the closer you live with people and especially in community, things tend to come up and one of the things we're finding is that just people can just be all over the map in terms of where their nervous system is, how much trauma they've had. And
Mhm.
it's really hard to tell at the beginning because people can, talk the talk. They, they can, have a really seem like a really spiritual background or very, on the same page, but you don't know until people are triggered and things start coming up really where people are. And I'm just wondering kind of what if you have any thoughts or a bit of a game plan there.
Yeah, that's a great question, Chris. I've thought about it. Um, I think part of it would be that's partly why I would like to purchase or not purchase, but build and run this wellness retreat, which has all these things that will be modalities for balancing your nervous system, right? For calming down and working through and having classes and having like education and because I've been on this quest for, well over 30 years of self-improvement, self-development, spirituality, awakening, or all the things we like to call it. And I found that there's no like one way, right? Everybody has unique things that's why we have so many modalities. But if we can offer multiple modalities, that would be a starting point for people. But as far as a method or a particular process, I haven't like zeroed on any one thing for conflict resolution. If everyone is self-sovereign, everyone owns their own land, right? We're not living in community in a way like there's not going to be a communal home, right? No one's going to be sharing meals unless they want to, unless they invite people together, right? So it's a lot less, I feel like, need for like conflict resolution because you're not like fighting over, whatever it is, all kind of living on top of each other, right? Everyone has their own space. It's kind of like a neighborhood, right? But we all have a similar mindset and we all have something we're trying to do or accomplish together, which is to grow these amazing spaces of love. So to me, I'm not focused on the fact that there will even be much conflict. I'm focused mostly on the fact that we can all manage ourselves and decide how much or how little community activity we want. Because you might have somebody who's extremely introverted purchase a parcel and they don't really ever want to do much at all with the neighbors, right? There could be other people who want to have an activity every day. And they're constantly pestering their neighbors for more social interaction. Those are all things we got to work out because no one is required to go to a social activity. No one is required to, whatever. So it's just like I don't foresee a lot of conflict.
And that's exactly how it plays out on the Russian settlements too. Like how you said, some people are really introverted, they just want to stay on their domain and build their space of love. They might pop out for a birthday party every once in a while. And that's it, right? And some people are super active in all the activities and they're there for everything and that whole spectrum.
Yeah, I like the way Jamie describes it for his business, right? This isn't for a community necessarily, but he says he writes it into his employment. Like if he hires someone to work on site and they're, living there, in his on his property, and he says if you come with a complaint, he has it written into his little agreement. If you come with a
Mm.
complaint and you don't also have three potential solutions, it's automatically what is it? He has some word for it, like you're disgruntled or you're like, it's grounds for termination, basically. So he just puts it straight out in the agreement of he's going to hire somebody. He says like, look, we're not here to have conflict. We're not here to complain or like if you have an issue, come with some solutions and then we'll solve it together. Like, but don't come with just a complaint. So I thought that was really interesting, and he's got a lot of other good ideas that way as well. Um, but basically, yeah, I think we'll focus on collaboration and
I love that. And again, David, like this is the first call we're having. David is the first person living out there on the settlement. He's out there establishing this himself. So there's so much to grow and discover over time, right? But I'm glad that David has been able to share with everyone here. So just big thank you to you, David. Everyone, big round of applause for David for being the first person on one of these calls to come and present. He's in the hot seat right now, and it's kind of a lot of pressure. And David, you just did that flawlessly. And it's beautiful what you're working on, man. You're a true inspiration. Is there anything else, any questions anyone has for David before we move on? Or
looks
David, is
like
there anything else that you'd like to say?
there was one more from Tristan who will own communal stuff like the business school and farm. So that's a great question because in my mind, I've owned and run small businesses before. To me, a business is completely separate from the community. So a business is whoever are the business partners, whoever buys in or invests or is participating as either a contractor or an employee or an owner of that business, they run the business. And then the owners of that business would decide. And my intention is that business would also then allow or be open to having community activities, use the facilities of the business, right? But the businesses run separate. Their business is completely separate. So all communal space would be owned by the business, not necessarily the community. Um, Maybe down the road there would be some community shared property, but at the beginning it would be whoever's the owner of the business runs the business. Whoever owns a parcel runs their parcel, their kin domain. They have full autonomy on their kin domain. and we all get along and live side by side in peace and harmony. Sweet harmony. We just need sweet
Amen.
harmony. All will be well.
Beautiful. David, thank you again, sir, just for coming on and sharing and being so clear and thorough with your presentation. What a great way to bring in this first call here. And I want to transition to something. So these calls, the way I'm envisioning it, right? We have settlement founders such as David, people who are on the land and actively building and developing a project already on the land. And then the other audience of presenters are what I'm calling founding initiatives. So people who have strong plans, resources, reasonable timelines, and people who are looking to get their projects off the ground, are planning and have the real means to make these things happen, but simply don't have the land yet. And so this is the second audience of people that we're going to be hearing from Vlad and Daniel. Although Daniel does have his own piece of land, he's looking at more land in Alaska, which you guys will hear about. And there's something, while I have you guys all here, there's a project that ties into what we're doing here incredibly well that I'd like to show you that most of you probably don't know about. It's something that I've been working on since 2023, and it can take everything we're doing here to another level. So I'm just going to share my screen quickly. Some of you who are like really into the weeds here might know where I'm about to go with this, but I imagine most don't. So just give me one moment here to share my screen. And again, huge thank you to David. That was just fantastic. All of that was fantastic. I'm gonna close all of these tabs with David's beautiful land here because I cannot. I don't know if anybody else can't do that, but like having a million tabs open, not my thing, not my thing. So let me just close those real quick. Get most of those closed. All right, beautiful. So this is my crown jewel project that I've been working on. So everybody, we just saw David's beautiful settlement, the photos, the slides, all the plans. So much information about everything that he's doing. I've been working on what I'm calling the International Kins Domain Settlement Directory for again since late 2023. I haven't had the time really this year because of all my demands to make much progress on this. But imagine, we don't have a place where we can find any active settlements. There isn't a website for this. This is the attempt to answer that for any settlement that is outside of Russia, anything worldwide, right? Outside of Russia. The goal would be to have people have listings here. And so imagine, this is the website. It's under development. There's going to be a map. There's all these listings. So you can see total number of settlements. You can search, right? So a lot of you may not know, but my day job is I'm a professional web designer and developer, and I've built all this from scratch in order to help, grow the Kins domain movement. There's a lot of things that this platform can do, but you can search by location and all these different things. This would be the name of the settlement, some basic information, location, how many hectares, how many plots, when was it founded, total families, things like this. This would be a description. You can see when it was last updated as well. And then you could come here and search in a million different ways. But imagine this being filled up with dozens of settlements worldwide. We have a lot of friends in Russia on Russian settlements who have agreed to put their settlements on here before we launch this website publicly. So this isn't publicly available yet. It's still under development. But I want to show you guys just what one of these pages would look like. So this is kind of the main photo, some information. People can put a gallery of photos, right? You can have a big photo gallery here and go through. These are all real settlement photos, by the way, but all of the information is fake. So for anybody wondering, there's just a bunch of gibberish here, placeholder. But these are real photos. Coming down, you would have a settlement description, contact information. So who's the contact, right? In this case, it would be David. Email, phone, social media, contact form. This would go straight to whoever is managing the listing for the settlement. So they'd get an email directly and they can reply to you directly or anybody else who is trying to find and connect with a settlement. Um, more details, right, about uh, the settlement in general, families, size of land, how many children, all these things. Ideally, sharing some kind of master plan or layout, like how David's getting the land surveyed and all this stuff. You'd be able to see all the parcels, how that's all divided. This is a real one in Russia, by the way, and they have like several sections. They have it's like 200 parcels on their land. This is just one small piece. And then lots of details about the land itself. So, description of the land, topography, water bodies, ownership structure, things like that. Membership process, how do you become a member? Things of this nature, visitor process, leadership structure, infrastructure. So, do you have roads? Is there water supply, electricity, all that stuff? Settlements will be able to complete all this. Google Map showing the exact location. And then if they want to post news and things like that, they'll be able to post articles. Again, this is still under development, so this one doesn't have one. But this is just a preview, right? And this is something that I really want to get done for you guys, for the world. Last thing I'll say about this is that since we're going to be collecting all of this data about different settlements, we'll be able to publish statistics and what I'm calling a yearly review of the growth of the Kins domain movement worldwide. I think we will very easily become the premier source of information related to settlements worldwide. I think this project has tremendous potential to change the entire movement. For example, I'm aware of like 8 Kins domain settlements in Poland, but who else knows about them? Right? And they could all be listed here, and all the ones that are cropping up along the United States and all throughout Europe and all these places. This could be the source. You could connect with them, and this could show that the movement is thriving and growing in a way that people just had no idea. This is going to make the movement look so legitimate in a way that's never happened before, and it's going to be a big tool for everyone. This will be free to use. And one last thing is that settlement founders, such as David and the other people on this call, will be invited to join a private settlement founders group. So all of the questions as people are figuring out, um, the how do we run these communities, or we have problems and we want to ask each other for feedback and solutions. There's going to be a community of practice of real settlement founders, actual connection between these people so they can support each other, all these things. I did a big blog post about it, which I will share the link to. I see that there's a bunch of stuff in the chat, which I have not had open. Great project, well organized information. Yeah, it is. Thank you. Um, Looking forward to this developing. Thank you, guys. When will this be public? So yeah, that's a great question. I have not been able to I made very little progress on this year. Um, because of my full-time job. So most of you don't know, I am not full-time with the foundation. All the things that we do, it's mostly done by my volunteer effort as a volunteer executive director, all the things that we do. I'm trying to become full-time and get projects like this done, and then the management of this project over time. So basically, there's a fundraiser here to raise $3,000 a month in monthly recurring donations to support my transition to full-time running the foundation so I can get things like this done. We can keep doing more calls like this and grow this movement in a way that, really it really deserves to be. I don't want to be doing web design for other people. I want to do it for you guys and get this done. And all the other things that we're doing. So whenever I can take my time away from my business and stop that and go full time is when this will be done. But thank you all for the support. It's hard for me sometimes to share about all the projects that are going on, but this is a big thing. And I can say last thing here, as a web designer, developer, I can tell you guys that an agency would charge probably $70,000 for something like this, bare minimum 50. I've already put hundreds of hours into it. There's a lot of database stuff on the back end, but I promise you guys, the movement has never seen anything like this, and it's going to be a huge project to finish. So I can't wait to get it done. I just wanted to share because it ties in very well with the settlement development idea. Thank you guys for your time and attention. If you guys want to support the fundraiser, I would appreciate it tremendously. It's just an investment in buying back my time from all the stuff that doesn't matter so I can do this and serve you guys endlessly, right? I've been volunteering for like 10 years and I just want to move away from that, do this in a sustainable way. So thank you guys for listening to me and letting me present about that. There's other things as well, but I don't want to take up more time with the Gabriel stuff. I want to let our friends who are going to be presenting shine. But thank you all for the support and the kind words on that project. It's really going to change a lot once we have statistics on the movement, right? Once people can really see what's going on, it's going to change the perception of the Ringing Cedars worldwide. And for settlement founders, it's basically a free website. So David, when you're on there, it's basically a free website for your whole settlement. Easy to log in and manage it over time. Um, I'll stop rambling here, but thank you guys for the support. I'll drop a link to the fundraiser one more time. Your support would be tremendously appreciated and well put to good use. Put to good use. With that being said, our next presenter, my dear friend, dear brother, Vlad from Southern California, has been doing tremendous work for a while in organizing and planning for a settlement, which I believe is going to be in Central Cali. Um, and Vlad, I would love for you to come and take the floor and present to everybody here. Let me see. Hold up. I just put this on full screen. I'm going to make you a co-host. There we go. Vlad, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. Okay.
Beautiful, brother.
Hey, brother. Thank you so much for this warm introduction. Happy New Year, everybody. So what a beautiful start of a new 2020
Yeah, Happy New Year. I can't believe I didn't say that. Happy New Year, everybody.
with this beautiful call, seeing so many um, bright eyes and beautiful souls aspiring the same future for all of us in the United States and globally. So yeah, let me talk a bit about myself first and then about the settlement. So my name is Vlad. I'm Russian. I came to the United States when I was 30 in 2013 to study uh, as an international student at UC Berkeley. And then I stayed. Part of my family lives in Bay Area. I live in LA, in Calabasas area. I'm 43, married happily with a 10-year-old son. Um,
Can I just say real quick, Vlad,
yeah.
you're Vladimir and your wife is Anastasia. It's perfect. I just have to say it. Her name is Anastasia.
What a great. Um, yeah. What else? So yeah, I work in two fields: assisted living, manage large assisted living facilities, work with elderly people, and also mental health facilities. This is kind of my bread and butter. So yeah, I read books a long time ago, and this was my dream to find the right place to settle down and co-create our space of love. I feel like California is a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful state. It has its pros and cons, but I still think this is one of the best places to start a kindred settlement. So I want to start from a bit a different angle, right? I'm very grateful. David started with his beautiful initiative. Yeah, thank you so much. Let me post. Excellent. You posted the link to the website I created with info about the settlement. So here's the deal. Like the way I'm seeing this, right? So because I also researched and talked to many people in Russia who started kin domain settlements. So in my kind of paradigm, in my point of view, the land, like locking the land, is a second tier question to like if we talk about order of things. In my list of things, the first thing is kind of material, sort of a financial source of income, right? Second is community, the people who come together with this idea, and then the land is the third, right? We can find the land together once we all on the same page. Again, this is just my perspective, how I see things based on my research experience of what I saw in Russia happening. Like I see that kin domain settlements, one of my favorite is in the southern part of Russia, in Krasnodar region. It's called Seine, I believe the name of the settlement, Zdrava in Russian. Uh,
Mm,
Basically,
big legendary settlement there.
yeah, one of few legendary settlements. Those settlements who have some business model attached from day one are more sustainable, right? Because people who move, they go through this transition phase of living in like in this dacha format more organically, more healthy, with less drama and less sacrifice, right? Because at the end of the day, right, we all kind of dependent on the system, right? We all have kind of having this income. We don't have ability to establish a garden that is fully a self. The kind of the space of love that is fully self-sufficient, self-sustainable, 100%. So we need to figure out how to make this transition phase more comfortable, sort of, so to speak. And long story short, I started this website as an idea to promote. The name of the website is called Eat Like Breathe, right? It basically borrows this idea from the books that Anastasia shared with us about letting go our food patterns that we all kind of were molded into believing, and then basically create a food cooperative in California to unite people with the same vision, right, with the same aspirations, but also willing to vote with their dollar into the kind of the cooperative, and then eventually the fund that can finance the land acquisition, right? So this basically helps us to build a more healthy relationships with the neighbors. So when you kind of have land and then you see people coming, you don't know their background, you don't see how they can behave in different situations. But when you build something like this, you can also see how people are willing to participate in the common project, right? Because Kinderman is still a shared area, right? You don't want to have people who are completely isolated, right, or living on their own. You still share roads, you share common space, schools, right? Your kids coming to the school, or you can be a homeschooling teacher, right, for other kids. Like a lot of ways to interact with your neighbors, right? That's like kind of a perfect balance of individualistic versus community lifestyle, right? That's why this kind of format is so appealing to us, because it basically is a perfect balance, right? It's a Dunbar number. If we talk scientifically, like a small kind of settlement, 150 people, but people get to know each other. They build long-lasting relationships. It's almost like a big family, right? Of people.
Mm.
You don't have to spend all your time with them, but you kind of have to share the space with them. Pizza. One second. Я занят. Go. Sorry, my very excited to get pizza delivered.
We love it. I could go for some pizza after this.
So yeah. Long story short, I don't want to take too much kind of elaborating on the idea. Very, very simple idea, right? To start a food cooperative. I have a space locked now in Los Angeles where I can store the product, right, for the cooperative. My vision is to help the local communities, local economies, to kind of bring back the livelihood, right? So that those communities that the energies that is being sucked from them, economic, like energy, we can bring it back, right? We can build a bridge between people who live in big cities such as LA and San Francisco, right? But for some reason they cannot move today, tomorrow, but they are willing to vote with their money, right? And basically we collectively create like a crowdfunding model together to help this beautiful vision kind of be embodied in reality, like buying land. Because I myself also consider buying a piece of land either in Central California or up north, where it's way better with the water. I don't know, Humboldt County, many other counties like Mendocino counties. My aunt and uncle, they live in Bay Area, so they know that area very, very well. But I'm thinking more about building yeah, Southern Oregon. Yeah, exactly. All those areas are beautiful. But again, my vision is to create something more sustainable in terms of financial power, because a lot of people are dependent on their lifestyle in the city, right? And then they cannot just magically teleport themselves into the community, even if they have enough funds, right, to buy land and start a garden in this dacha format. This transition takes up to 10 years, right? And unfortunately, I know a lot of people in Russia. There's a big turnover of settlers in Russia, right? They come, they overestimate their abilities, like financial abilities, abilities to build family and grow kids and isolation and all those types of things, right? um yeah, thanks for that. For like a lot of people have this privilege of working remotely. Some of people don't have this privilege, right? But they still want to be part of the community. They have capital, but unfortunately they have, I don't know, businesses, they have families, they have I don't know, schools, and a lot of different reasons why they want to stay at the place where they live, but at the same time they want to kind of slowly move towards the dream. So this kind of mechanism can help us unite all of us, right, with different resources, with different mindsets, with different expectations, but we can also synchronize during this process, right? And also we can spread this idea to people who live in the cities, such as LA and San Francisco. Yeah, this is kind of in a nutshell. So I have a few farmers I work closely, because I have a different business that like almost like a marketplace for honey and bee products. And also there is a local cold press oil, not oil and seed oil manufacturer in Orange County. Her name is Svetlana, makes beautiful oil on wooden cold press. So I have a few ideas what to start with, but I envision this co-op as completely decentralized tool, right? For all of us to be able to participate, become ambassador in case you want to like invest your time and time and effort and energy, and also help your own local communities who can be not only specifically in Central California, but can be scattered all over California, but basically helping remove those intermediaries that were built to bring that food to our table. Like basically removing this intermediary and saving money on a wholesale price, helping the farmers, the small sustainable local farmers, and also building this foundation for the healthy community moving forward. Um, what else should I talk about? There's so much to add. I'm just working on the website. Um, Land trust. Yeah, this is another good question. Still working. I think there's a lot of different models. And Craig, are you here? Craig just reached out to me a few days ago. There is an interesting. Yeah, Craig, do you want to talk about this thing you sent me about the presentation? Because I did my research. I think it's an amazing tool that can also be utilized for not only us but everybody else who builds kin domain settlement in the United States. I'm done. I'm willing to talk
Oh,
more,
and
but
then
you might.
Vlad, I know, thank you, Vlad. And I know that you've done some scouting of land as well, right? You've been looking around, I know online and in person, I
I'm
believe.
traveling all over. The reason I like Central California is because of the climate, right? And also because it's located on 101 freeway. We can build also like a retreat center where people coming from LA to San Francisco or from San Francisco to LA can stop by overnight and spend beautiful time, like or weekend, kind of revitalizing their body and soul and stuff like this. My wife is a yoga teacher, so she dreams also of creating like a yoga retreat center. Uh,
Beautiful.
yeah, and
And
also
I
yeah.
Oh, I was gonna say, and I know the co-op is kind of meant for like funding the settlement and its development over time, right? And things like this. And I'm just wondering, like, what exactly are you looking for? Like, what kind of people are you looking for to connect with you right now, right? You have this vision, you have clear plans, generally, you have an area. And so where are you kind of at, like maybe going next, right?
So the way I see it, right, there are three different categories of people, right? So we can just envision a simple marketplace where people can buy food, right, directly from us at a maybe a discount price, right? Um Compared to the average retail price for the same product. I don't know, honey or whatever, because we have established relationships. The second
Mm-hmm.
tier is members, right? Members who uh, become like they almost like a subscription model. When you become a co-op member, you get usually 10% of the value, right? And you can keep it for yourself, or you can put it back into the fund, right? That can grow and eventually can finance the land acquisition or other operations of the kin domain settlement. And third category is ambassador, when you're willing to bring local farmers, craftsmen, or whoever you feel fit into the whole kind of concept of I don't know, like this type of local economy. Because kin domain settlements in Russia, they also do the same thing, right? They basically
Mm-hmm.
try to boost the craftsmanship or this type of farming where this I don't know, bee products coming from kin domain settlers and stuff like this is being sold online or in the local communities. Yeah, so this is in a nutshell. And
Mm.
just to make it clear, I am not kind of only betting on the co-op, right? Co-op is a beautiful idea that I have in my head, but I also welcome everybody who has capital, right? Who's willing to put their capital to capture the land. The average price of acre in San Luis Obispo County is about 10 grand, right, per acre. So it's
It's
pretty
fantastic.
decent. It depends, of course. If it's has all the kind of electricity, water, and stuff, it can get way more expensive depending on how remote it is. Access to water, right? That's the most important thing. So yeah, the price can go up to, I mean, several $100,000 per acre. It just depends on where you are. and proximity to the routes such as 101 freeway. Yeah, that's the concept I have in my mind. That's how I see it working. Because again, I live in LA, and I kind of attached to this. I don't have a remote job, right? Even though I have capital to put down, I'm not there yet. I'm in this transition phase, and seeing myself living on kind of on a dacha format. Once I buy this piece of land, I will be still commuting back and forth for some period of time, hopefully faster than uh, longer. So yeah, but again, just an idea of how to make this transition smoother and more organic and healthy for the whole community. Um,
Mm, I love it. Yeah, and I mean, from knowing Vlad for a while, I mean, Vlad has an amazing intuitive understanding of the books and the ideas behind them, and a lot of passion, and also just great just business sense, financial sense, all these things. You're one of the most level-headed, clear thinkers that I know. I love the way you think. And so if anyone gets involved with Vlad, I think it's going to go well. I just want to say that. I think it's going to go well. And so, anyone who, right, might be interested, Central Cal, I guess you're kind of open to the area a bit. But
yeah,
anyone,
and I'm
with,
not fixated on Central California, right? It's just an
yep,
idea, right? I'm open to other places. I know Craig looks is looking into like San Diego to Orange County areas. I love those areas too. I love Northern California. I'm looking more from a different angle, right? Of making sure that this community is set for success in all like aspects, like social power, right, material power, and spiritual mental power, so that people can all kind of be helpful. If people don't um, have any of those resources, they can basically rely on other members, for that purpose. And this is more sustainable way of growing a community, as I see it. Because again, land is there, right? Land is waiting, and my vision is to make sure that this land is stewarded the right way, with the right people, willing to take responsibility in the long term.
beautiful. Beautiful. And if people, by the way, everyone who's interested, I shared the link to Vlad's website. He has a page there in the chat about, right, his ideas and visions and plans for the settlement. Um, and Vlad, like if people want to contact you or they want to get involved, how can they do that?
Yeah, Telegram. Let me post my Telegram link. One sec. Just copy and paste it. Can we, Craig? Do you want to speak a little bit about the format you're thinking about?
Sure. I mean, I could, but it sounds like there was another speaker
Oh yeah, sorry.
after you, and I wouldn't want to
Yeah,
interject
we
with anything.
leave it till the end of the conversation if there is time and
Sure.
people are willing to.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate that, guys.
Thank you so much. Sorry, my bad. Let me post the link.
Yeah,
We can move to questions and to the third speaker.
awesome. Yeah, any questions for Vlad? Anybody interested? Anybody want to learn more? I know that this area, I mean, I've thought about that area of the country myself, climate wise and things like that. Um, I who knows, I could potentially be persuaded at some point in the future. It's about the quality of your neighbors, right? When you know that you're with good people with good hearts and strong work ethic and good plans, right? Um, y-
Exactly.
you know. Um, yeah, beautiful. So I'd suggest everybody connect with Vlad. Stay on our email list. Vlad is also our Southern California regional ambassador. He hosts events and things periodically. He's been doing great work in SoCal for a while. That is his Telegram handle there. So if you guys just search for that on Telegram, um, Kai Neptune, yes, come to California. Hey, who knows? Who knows? I'll be visiting.
Yeah.
Um, definitely visiting. Um, too many good neighbors to choose from. Um, Stefan from BC, another regional ambassador. He asks, Vlad, what vetting protocols have you seen from the Russian settlements that you see yourself adopting? Interesting question.
Yeah, it's a very interesting question. I've seen quite a few, including the one that you gave sent me from this settlement in I believe Yaroslavskaya, right? Region.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, they have a bunch of papers. So long story short, there is a huge how would I say, like a library or maybe like a set of data in regards to all this conflict prevention or resolution protocols and then interactions in the communities, right? So there's some experience that Russian kingdom and settlements can share with us, and they actually share because there are similar patterns that pop up all the time, right? Like people don't know who is responsible for, I don't know, for putting another electric line and how to kind of to do that, or how to bring new people in, and either we sell them land right away or we let them leave there for some time, like, or almost like a probation period, and see if
Yep.
they get in or they don't. So there is multiple ways of doing it, right? And my vision is that this will come next, right? I have all this data and I can share it, no problem, right? And I have my vision how to do that. But my vision is to kind of engage people into this co-op, right, as a primary goal. Secondary goal is, of course, to let people come and talk about the land and stuff like this. I have three things in my head, which I listed on the web page, right? I prefer people who have families, kids, and because that's kind of showing that they're responsible. They have to take care of their future generation, and they have a long-term thinking. Second, they read the books. Even though I'm not crazy about this, I know that some people are absolutely aligned with us with, I would say, 99% of all the things, but they don't believe that these books are real, or I mean they talk about something real, right? They don't take it for granted. It's fine. Even in Russia, a lot of settlers, they didn't read all the books, or they read maybe one or two, three books just to get an idea what it's about, to get the model of the kin domain settlement, but they don't take this information as absolute truth, but it's fine. And then the third is basically financial resources, right? Because you have to be able to live sustainably on this land for quite some time before you start. I mean, before your beautiful food forest can feed you at least like 50%. I don't know, like all those beds and fish pond, whatever you do for yourself to um, redirect the the purchasing pattern from the system into your own source of life and love. So
Yeah. It's a
yeah.
long time horizon for those things to pay off, right?
Yeah, I've listed the things I put up as a priority, but I don't go into the mechanism itself because it's a bit premature at this point, because I see the
Hmm.
numbers growing, maybe next year, as a financial mechanism, and um, later on we can talk about this, because I want this to be completely decentralized. I want people to be able to discuss and talk and share their vision, because my vision is only one part of the vision, right? And I see kingdom and settlement as completely decentralized, like organic structure that is growing with the people in it. Of course, there are going to be leaders, right? Who are going to be uh, kind of leading the whole team, but again, I feel it has to be more like, I don't know, smart contract type of scenario where people share, vote, and if they vote for this certain rule or vetting mechanism, and it's ingrained in the constitution of the kingdom and settlement, then adopted by everybody else. That's how it's supposed to work, and those kingdom and settlements Gabe knows about, and others too.
Yep. Yeah, there's a lot of ways that they approach it. And actually, Vlad, with the process of getting people to join, he did something last year, which I found tremendously inspiring, which was Vlad, you hosted a Zoom call, about, and I think a couple Zoom calls, right, about developing the settlement in SoCal. And I just thought that was really innovative and interesting, right? Like using and kind of played into a little bit of the inspiration that I have here of like we have this online format where we can present about these ideas and get people to be interested, and using this to the full potential. And I know even I think the settlement that you're talking about, Vlad, the way that they have people join, I think the first step is like a Zoom call with like the founders and some of the members, right? Before they even visit or something like that. There's
Yeah,
so many ways that this plays out. And part of what we're doing here is that this is we could say a worldwide research operation on what are all the ways and how do they all work and what works for people, right? And over time we'll be able to figure things
exactly.
out more,
Including the land kind of subdivision, including the yeah, a lot of those details that go into this has to be kind of brainstormed collectively, right, and applied to specific region because each county is different. Each county is very very different in all those aspects, and if you want to build something sustainable, you have to talk to locals, you have to talk to people, professionals in this field, and basically make it happen.
Mm, beautiful. And I want to go to the audience. Do you guys have any more questions for Vlad? Any more questions for Vlad? Or anything, Vlad, that you'd like to share in closing before we move on? Looks like we're good. Everyone good? Vlad, you're good? All right.
Thanks so much for letting
Yes.
me.
Yes. Thank you, Vlad, for being here. I appreciate you tremendously, my brother. He's doing great work. I believe in the success of his initiative here. Please connect with Vlad, um, and attend any gatherings or like these a call like this. I envision, right? What are the long-term outcomes of something like this when we have 50 people who are genuinely interested on a call together, right? People can come connect. These turn into in-person meetups and gatherings and groups that then spiral naturally into the fulfillment of these settlements, right? Like these kinds of connections. This is what I'm hoping to facilitate here. So yeah, please connect with Vlad if you guys would like to learn more, and get this thing going. And maybe over time, as we're figuring out these calls, we can hear from projects again and see what has developed and what's going on. So maybe of course, we hear from David and Vlad and everybody else over time. But please connect with him on Telegram. He is at Vladdy Forest on Telegram. I'm gonna post his Telegram handle again. And for anyone who's not on Telegram, highly suggest downloading it and getting on there. Such an easy way
Yeah,
to
look,
connect with
my
people.
just in case somebody wants to uh add.
And then your website as well. I dropped a link for. Um, And then I see there's a question from Bonita. I think I can answer that one. So Vlad was mentioning some documents from a Kins domain settlement. In one of the Russia-America exchanges that we did, I think maybe 2 years ago, we were talking with the founder of a pretty successful settlement, and their approach was like there's a lot of documentation. There is formalized processes for a lot of things, conflict resolution, members joining, a settlement kind of fund, like a collective settlement fund, and all these things. He had shared all this with me. There's a lot of documents actually. Um, And at that time, I couldn't get them translated very easily, but now you can translate things a lot easier. So I was able to make some sense of it. But Vlad reads Russian, so he was able to make sense of that a lot better than me. Um, uh, I don't know if he would be okay if Andrei is his name. I don't know if he'd be okay if I shared those things publicly, but I can ask him and maybe on the next call, um, maybe share some of that. And these are maybe I can put together like a bit of a resource library from our different settlement friends because from all the things that we've done, I'm really, really well connected with a lot of highly successful settlements in Russia. And again, I envision this being a bit of a pool of knowledge. So maybe I can follow up on these things. Um, Give me some time to figure those things out. So yeah, everybody, thank you to Vlad. Big thank you to Vlad. Vlad, thank you for all the work that you're doing. Thanks for taking your time and sharing about what you're doing here, inviting people in, and a beautiful, bright future for California or that area of the world when these things can happen. Finn asks Vlad, when and where is the next California Ringing Cedars meetup? Um, Vlad, you decide
Yeah,
whenever
yeah,
you
I
want to do that,
do it.
and we make it happen.
Yeah, I'm planning to do it. Ideally, to do it monthly, but I took a very fast pace last year, so we didn't gather enough people. So maybe we do it quarterly. So hopefully, I will do it in February. So now I have a
Yeah.
plan website, and I've been working for some time on the whole concept. So hopefully, it's going to go a little faster, and more people going to show up. So February, I will post everywhere on Eventbrite, and I will notify Gabe and Galina, so you
Yep.
can post it on Facebook too.
Yep. This will be in our newsletter and then on the event calendar on our website, which I keep updated with everything we have going on. If you guys don't know about it, highly suggest visiting this page I'm about to drop here. The events page. If you guys use Google Calendar, Apple Calendar, you can actually subscribe to this calendar and see all the things that we have going on, in-person events, online events. But that will be the source for every event that we do. So whether it's in person, online, anything Vlad is doing, all of that is there. Suggest checking that out. It's also on the homepage of the site. If you just scroll down the homepage, Anastasia.Foundation, uh, this event schedule is always updated as far in advance as I can update it. So, all right, thank you again, Vlad. And our last presenter today, I'm very excited to hear from. Daniel, are you still with us? I see you there. Okay. Beautiful. Um, there you are. I'm gonna make you a co-host. And yeah, so Daniel has a beautiful initiative that he's working on in Alaska. Um, Daniel also lives on a beautiful piece of land. I'll share your website, Daniel, for everyone. Icefieldfarm.com. Um, and well, Daniel, you can probably talk a lot better about yourself than I can. I love what you're doing. I love your art. I love your plans. And excited to hear more from you. So welcome.
Thank you. Thanks. Yeah, my name's Daniel Tucker of the Tucker Simone family. That's my wife and I and our three children. And uh, about 4.5 years ago, we moved up to Alaska and bought beautiful 17 acres of land in a really special place here called Point Agassiz. It's right near a small town called Petersburg, Alaska. And I grew up in the Northwest, Oregon, Washington. I've also lived in Alaska quite a bit north of here. So this whole kind of rugged coastline has always felt like home to me. And so it felt like a natural place to be. And I know some people here. I've been a commercial fisherman in the past and I do a lot of building. I'm a builder by trade in many ways and also an artist and a plantsman and a gardener. I love plants are really my passion. I live for gardening and making beautiful places. Um, so yeah, if I can share here, is that cool to screen share?
100%. Yeah, I tried to make you co-host. Will it work? Can you try?
Yeah.
Awesome.
Okay. So Alaska is a big place. we're down here in the Panhandle where all these islands are. And I'll zoom in here. And right here is Petersburg. This is where we live right now. We're not full time on our land yet, just like, we heard that it can be a big transition to actually getting out to your property, even if you own it. We're really fortunate that we own our land outright. We were able to pay for it in cash after selling our place down south when we moved up here. And we have done some building there. So over here, this kind of swath of bright green, these are beautiful meadows along the beach here, and this gray, this is a big, big, wide, sandy beach. This place is Point Agassiz. And 100 years ago, there were 9 families that came over here and homesteaded all along this beach. And they had dairy farms, they had small farms. They grew a ton of food here for a while. And then in the 40s and 50s, kind of like all over the United States, a lot of people packed up and left their small farms. They, joined the military, went off to fight in World War II, or went to work in factories, and the kind of industrial model sort of pulled people away from the land for a while. But the land is still there. It's really beautiful. I'll show you guys another map here. So this is the borough map, which we have a borough instead of a county. It's just an Alaska thing. But this is a really useful kind of thing for anyone that's looking for land in the US. Most local counties have some kind of map or GIS thing that you can get on, and it'll show you all the parcels. Like all these yellow lines are the outlines of private land parcels. So you can see this is a really unique place. Like, this is a big saltwater fjord. This place up here is Thomas Bay. There's huge icy mountains over here. This is a Patterson Glacier. We've got LeConte Glacier, the southernmost tidewater glacier, and a huge ice field here. That's what our farm's named for. This place is epic. I love it. It's really rugged. It rains a lot. It snows a lot. It can be a really challenging climate. It's not for everybody. So with that, I just want to share what I love about this place and what I think the potentials are, because to me, there's nowhere else on earth I'd rather be. So you can see down here is Point Agassiz. There's a bunch of little lots. This is R2 right here, and there's our yurt. It's a 34-foot nomad shelter yurt, and it's just a shell inside, but we're planning to finish that out as our family home, and possibly also like a gathering space. We might eventually build next to it and then have the yurt just as like a classroom gathering space. But so this little area is a subdivision, and there's a bunch of other local families that have bought these parcels around us, and so it's a little bit going in the direction of a Kins domain settlement already. I think we're probably some of the only people in Petersburg that have read some of the Anastasia, the Ringing Cedars books. But one of the most wonderful things about this place is that the nature is so extreme and rugged here, and the civilization is so small and tenuous that it really brings people together. And not everybody agrees, so like Petersburg is a community of 3,000 people down here, this little town, and there's every part of the political spectrum represented. There's very strong opinions. There's definitely arguments and drama that happens, but when somebody's boat is in trouble out here, people don't ask you who you voted for or what kind of flag is in your yard. They help out. And so there is a really strong sense of community. There's a lot of families in Petersburg that have been there for 3-4 generations, fishing families. And then of course there's native Tlingit people that have been here for thousands of years. And so that's one thing we really love. There's a sense of community there already that you just don't find in the lower 48 almost anywhere these days. And so over here at Point Agassiz, most of the people that own these parcels are descendants or relations of the original families that homesteaded there. So there's still real tight-knit sense of community. One of the things I wanted to share is there's this interesting situation. So over here on Thomas Bay, and I'll share with you guys some pictures of Thomas Bay, so you get a sense. This is, this is a little snapshot of Thomas Bay. It's gorgeous. There's small cruise ships that come in here sometimes. There's glaciers. There's like a giant waterfall. Bears, you name it. Humpback whales come in here and feed. There's king crab. It's just super abundant. It's a really amazing place. And so there's some land here that our local municipality recently acquired, the Petersburg Borough. There's this big subdivision here. You can see all these little lots divided up. These are each roughly close to 5 acres. And the state set this aside several decades ago, the state of Alaska, and they were planning to sell it off for development to raise funds for the University of Alaska. And then back in the 80s, some people in Petersburg did a lot of moose hunting over here, and they didn't like that idea. And people raised a stink, and then it never got put on the market. And then much later, the Petersburg Borough acquired it, and now they're kind of sitting on it. People don't hunt moose quite as much over here. And there are some people, I should mention, there are a couple of families that do live over here year round. There's like 3 different main families that are year round over here. There's some folks down here on the Muddy River that have a blacksmithing business. They make some really amazing knives, and there's people that raise dogs and do all kinds of cool stuff. There's a little goat farm. So there's still somewhat of a community here. Anyways, this is like 550 acres total, and there's this gravel pit that happens to sit in the middle of it. It's good land. It's relatively flat. It's productive. It's well drained. Most of it's covered in second growth spruce forest. It's very sandy, gravelly soil. And around here, that's what you really want because it drains well. We get a lot of rain, and good drainage is really important to be able to build stuff and grow stuff. Otherwise, it ends up being a peat bog. But anyways, the borough's got all this land, and I've emailed with them a little bit about it prospectively and said, like, do you guys have plans for this? What's going on here? And they basically said, no, we don't really have any concrete plans. Like, we're open to proposals if somebody has something in mind. And so, I'm pretty occupied full-time developing our property and getting ourselves started on our land, creating some kind of farm business that will allow us to live there year round. But I look over here and I see this huge chunk of land at Thomas Bay that's already platted out for a subdivision. And it's good land, and it's an amazing location. It could be really prime for doing something like having gardens, kins domains, small farms, and then also doing some kind of ecotourism. This river right here, the Patterson River, you could, take people on raft trips, guide people up here, Thomas Bay. There's a gigantic glacier up here. See this huge lake full of icebergs. It's another massive glacier. It's just epic. The landscape around here is just world-class mountains and glaciers, and it's really amazing. So I feel like there's a ton of potential here for people that are interested in that kind of all-out adventure. That's what excites me. So I know it's not for everyone, but I just want to put that out there and share it with people. And if people are curious, if they're interested, I'll put my contact info in the chat. Please reach out to me. If you want to come up to Alaska on a trip and check it out, I'd be happy to meet up and help you however I can. This place is it's just phenomenal, and it's just a really special place. And especially at this time in the world where things feel so crazy with all the technological developments and cell towers going up everywhere. Over here in this area, Point Agassiz, Thomas Bay, there's no infrastructure. It's all off grid. There's a little bit of a road system that the Forest Service maintains. But other than that, there's no power. There's no cell towers. So it's kind of there are pros and cons to that, but it's very beautiful and very clean and wild. There's so much water. You can drive a well pipe down like 20 or 30 feet on our land, and there's more water than you could ever pump out. All these glaciers are melting down into here, all these rivers. There's a huge amount of groundwater, and then all the rain. You could catch the rainwater and be totally fine for all your domestic needs. So it's a place of abundance. And yeah, I just want to share that.
That's amazing. Yeah, thank you, Daniel. What an interesting someone said it perfectly here in the comments. Such a cool find with the pre-development plots there on the cove. And that's kind of why I like wanted to reach out to Daniel and invite him to share because what an unusual find, right? And then this land is kind of there and they're willing to part with it, you know? Super interesting. So for those of you that there's some people who, right, that climate is home, right? Anastasia says the first step for building a kins domain is take a piece of land in a place that has a climate that's most suitable to you, right? And this climate and this nature is probably most suitable to some people on this call or some people on the YouTube video who are going to be watching this in the future. And I mean, we all know about how beautiful and epic the Alaska nature is, right? I mean, I wish I could come up there and visit you and see that, man. That place looks incredible. Yeah, people are loving it in the comments. Your pioneering spirit is admirable, Stefan says. Thank you for bringing your energy into these spaces. David says super epic. Brad, wow, what an amazing find. Yeah, it's a really, really, really interesting find. Right? Who knows? Maybe some crazy series of circumstances happen to turn that into a settlement, in the future. I mean, I can't imagine there's a lot of situations quite like that one where it's all subdivided into mostly 5 acre plots and all of these things. And I imagine the land's probably not that expensive either.
Yeah, that's a good question. I think honestly to get the borough's consent to sell that, they would probably want someone that was ready to buy all of it or most of it as like a big
Hmm.
chunk, and then and someone that had a pretty comprehensive plan for developing it in a
Yep.
responsible way. But I don't know. I don't think they would start just selling off one little plot here and there. I think they would want like an overall plan to develop that whole area. But yeah, it's an open question at this point.
Mm, beautiful. And yeah, Daniel put his email in the chat here, Daniel at icefieldfarm.com. You guys should check out his website. A lot of info there. Beautiful website. As a web designer, I can say I know you did that yourself. You did a good job.
Thanks.
Yeah, definitely definite props on that. Does anybody have any questions for Daniel? Anybody, any questions, any interests, anything like that? Just want to give it some space. Or Daniel, if there's anything else that you'd like to share. That was a great presentation. What a cool map, by the way, that the government has there.
Thanks. Yeah, those are really useful. Yeah. I feel like living in this place has been a really good lesson in community and the value of community. Um, like you don't have to be best friends with everybody, but as long as everybody or almost everybody has a certain standard of decency and respect and kind of rules of how we interact with each other, it goes a long way. And also, there's something that happens when you have enough, we have a critical mass of people in a place that have known each other for a really long time, like multiple
Mm,
generations. They all know each other's families. It really it just grows the strength of those connections, and it's like people know each other really well, and they know like uh how much you can trust that person with, like, do you want it, that person maybe is someone that's really fun to hang out with, but they're not who you want to be your business partner, or you don't want to like work for that person. um just
mm,
like that deep knowledge of interpersonal relationships is really really valuable. and that's been really helpful here, getting to know people and what people know about other people. It has given us a huge leg up versus going into like a super urban community where it's really anonymous and everybody's kind of coming and going every few years, and so that's something that I really treasure about this place.
Mm. It sounds like there's a real sense of people having each other's back there, right? And that kind of support is beautiful. And we've got a bunch of comments coming in. Uh,
Okay.
yeah, we first question here from Patrick. How is the access to airports and resources like food, tools, etc.?
Yeah, so Petersburg has a small airport. It gets Alaska Airlines flights twice a day. The Alaska State Ferry comes in there about once or twice a week. So that's kind of the main node of connection. You can go up to Juneau. Juneau's the state capital. It's 100 miles north. There's a lot more people and stuff going on there. But generally, you can get most things that you need in Petersburg. There's stores, grocery, hardware stores. There's a hospital. There's it's a pretty functional town. Um, and as far as food, like groceries are expensive here, but I can go down to the beach and dig 50 pounds of clams basically for free, and go out and catch some salmon.
There you go.
There's all kinds of fish and animals. There's wild blueberries everywhere. You can go pick buckets and buckets full of wild blueberries if you have the time. There's a lot of natural resources. Yeah.
Beautiful, beautiful. Yeah. Okay, next question from Rihanna. Do you mind giving a range of prices for property in Petersburg? How many acres did you say you have?
Yeah, property in Petersburg has gotten more expensive the last few years. It's around 400 to 600,000 for a single family home. That's like in town with all the utilities and stuff. When we bought our land, so it was raw land, we bought it for about 10,000 an acre. Our 17 acres was about 170,000. That was in fall of 2021. I don't think it would have gone up too much since then. There are two little parcels in our neighborhood that might be coming up for sale later this year. Not a lot of land comes up for sale at Point Agassiz, but because it's kind of hoarded as like a family treasure in those families. But
Hmm.
but some things do come up for sale occasionally. And there's other land around. Sometimes the state has land sales, or you could get a couple acres for 50,000, or less than 100,000 for sure, depending on where you are, of raw land. Yeah.
Awesome. One more question. Well, two questions here from Stefan. When you first chose to settle there, what did the land teach you that no plan or preparation could have?
Wow,
Interesting.
that's a great question. Yeah. Um, yeah, it's a big process. We had lived on an off-grid homestead down south in Washington before we moved up here. We had 5 acres on a place called San Juan Island near Friday Harbor, which is also a really beautiful place. But it was on the road system, and we got power coming to the property eventually, and if you can drive to a property, that makes it a lot easier to develop. Here, our property at Point Agassiz, it's a 10-mile boat ride across the water from Petersburg, and so we get over there with our little small boat, little skiff with an outboard motor, and that is kind of a whole adventure in itself. Uh, it's kind of challenging sometimes, but it just so epic, and it even for as inconvenient as that is, I still wouldn't trade it. And when you get over there, it is so quiet and amazing, and just
Mm.
just having that separation from the road system, even just the little road system of Petersburg and like a little town of 3,000 people, it seems like a booming metropolis when you come in from Point Agassiz from being out there. It's so quiet and peaceful. So yeah, I guess I would just say, yeah, like there's a lot of logistical hurdles, but it all feels totally worth it. just for the
Mhm.
feeling I have when I'm out there. I just feel so great when I'm out there. So yeah.
Man, Daniel, your love for the land is palpable. Yeah, that's a beautiful thing. That's a beautiful thing. And then one more question here. What was the hardest truth you had to accept about living there, and how did it change the way you make decisions now? Interesting.
Um, I think the hardest truth was that, like, for us as a family with young children, and basically we moved up here and bought that land and put all the money we had made from selling our place down south. We had like 300,000 in cash, and we spent about half of that on the land, and we spent the rest on the yurt. We have off-grid solar array and some other things there, and we got a good start, but it wasn't quite enough to get it to like where we felt like we needed it to be to live there year round. And also our life changed. My wife was working remotely for a while, and then that job ended. The business basically went belly up, and she decided she really hated working online all the time. She felt like it wasn't good for her, and
Yeah.
the hardest thing to accept has been that, like, we're not quite ready to just jump in and start living there. If it was just me and my wife, we would totally be there, but just having small kids makes it harder, and we don't want it to be this like traumatic experience where we go too
Hmm.
hard and burn ourselves out and then have to run away from it. We want to really pace ourselves and build something that can last a lifetime and that we can pass on to our kids. And so living in town has been this real compromise, that in some ways it's like, I wish we could just be out there. But at the same time, there's been so many silver linings to that. We've gotten to know so many more people from living in the community of Petersburg first, and just making so many great connections in this little small town. Like, you see so many people, you get to do so many cool things together. And in the meantime, still building that long term vision and making plans for how we're going to get out there and make it work. So, yeah, that's been the toughest thing to accept.
I love it. Thank you for sharing. It's real life. And as Anastasia says, it's rushing, right? She always cautions against rushing and
Yeah,
making life smooth and comfortable for everyone, right? It's such an important thing. And I've seen stories. I've been to, a very large successful settlement in Russia and seen what happens when people rush too much and the family is not happy. And that's a real thing. That's a real thing. So very wise, from you to take it slow and make it comfortable. Because no matter how long it takes, right? The dream comes true at some point, right? Um, and that's the beautiful thing. We're gonna get there. Um, and so, yeah, Daniel, is there anything that you'd like to say in closing to everybody?
yeah, well, thanks for listening, and yeah, thanks for joining us on the call. Thanks to the other presenters. Loved what they had to share, and yeah, just I know it can feel really exhausting to be in this like limbo search for land, but the land is out there. There's so many wonderful places. Like, every every square mile of the earth, I believe, is yearning and waiting for the right people to show up and be the stewards of that place. And every place has its own treasures, and every different soil type, every microclimate, every ecosystem is unique and awesome. And you know, so yeah, the land is out there waiting for us, and that that inspires me.
Beautiful, brother. Well said. Um, Thank you so much for being here and sharing about this beautiful project initiative. Um, yeah, great to hear from you. Thank you for your time. Um, and yeah, thank you everybody. I want to share some more things that are kind of add-ons to this call, things that can be useful, resources. So I'm going to just share my screen again. Everybody, big thank you to Daniel, right? Big thank you to Daniel. Beautiful energy. Again, your love for the land is just so beautiful, man. To fall in love with the place like that and to just make it your home, right? Like, there's a place, as you said, that calls out to everyone. Our heart will find that place. Um, and it's a unique place for everyone. Um, so yes, thank you to Dan. A lot of love coming in for you in the comments here. And yeah, guys, I'm going to share my screen one more time and show you some interesting resources and things for following up on everything that we've talked about here. So there is this community platform that I originally built and launched this when at the end of 2021 or probably early 2022. For those of you who do not know, it's Anastasia.community. So this is basically our own private, self-hosted, self-owned social network for Ringing Cedars readers, right? There is a news feed, there is a member directory. You can find people near you and reach out. Lots of people have told me that they have made friends or connected with people and met up with people in real life through this platform. There's a ton of people on here, but one thing I want to highlight is there is also a forum feature. So this is a membership website filled with readers, and I have a create a KINS domain settlement forum here. I don't promote this platform nearly as often as I'd like to, but if anybody would like to, share about your project, this is a place basically for free advertising about your settlement, right? So you could come on here, create a discussion, and people can find this and reference it over time. This is just a resource that I wanted you guys to be aware of. So I will just share the link to the website here. Oh, Lenny shared it. Thank you very much for doing that, Lenny. I'm multitasking here on the comments. And for anyone who would like to, um, so anyone who has a settlement, right, as David does and actually has land and is developing, reach out to me privately if you would like to present on one of these future calls and we can get that going. And if anybody has an initiative like Daniel or Vlad, you have plans, you have solid and maybe different resources and things to get your project going, you can fill out this application. I'm going to drop the link in the chat as well, just so I can know more about your project and see if it's a good fit for presenting on the call. Um, I'd love to feature you and just wanted everyone to be aware of that. And then, yeah, one more thing I'll say, before in closing, I would love to just share about the fundraiser one more time. So we're working on the $3,000 a month goal so I can go full time with the Anastasia Foundation, having been part-time volunteer for, I guess the last decade. But I've been doing all the different roles, all the online platforms that you see, our email list, several websites, calls like this, all the emails, Telegram, social media, and working on publishing the books and all that stuff in the future. And I've been doing it all part-time and pretty much unpaid. So I would love to transition into doing this full time so you guys can get my full attention. We can finish all these projects and grow and expand the movement. I just want to share more about that because your support on this is truly appreciated and is a direct investment in the movement. We support you with a monthly contribution. We love the idea of the Kins Domain Settlement website. Yeah, that's going to be a game changer in so many ways. There's a blog post about it that I did. Even in Russia, they don't have a settlement directory nearly as good as that. What is the one that they have in Russia? Anastasia.ru. I'll show you guys what they're working with in Russia just so you can see by comparison. This is the Russian Kins Domain Settlement Directory, just so you guys know. 386 settlements, and you can come and click, but it's a large HTML list of settlements versus what I've built here, even in a super alpha state, is a complete it's a complete difference. I think we're actually in this way, as far as our technology and our platforms go. From all of the Russian friends that I have, I've been told that they have nothing like what we have at all. This settlement directory, the community platform, our website, our Telegram, all the communication infrastructure that we have, they don't have anything close to this level of cohesion and organization. And we're barely getting started. I've done most of this part-time out of my own pocket. And if we actually had some real support from the community, right? Many hands make a miracle. I can go full time, put more effort, raise more funds, build out a team, and make this movement, support it the way it needs to be supported, right? Being the support for all of you guys and everything that's to come, doing more calls like this and things like that. And I appreciate everybody bearing with me. For 10 years, I have never really asked for support. I've always just tried to give my best for everyone. And this is all new for me. So if I sound nervous or something like that, it's because I am. So I appreciate it. But if you guys could, your support would mean the world. We've got a lot that's developing, and this is only the beginning. And then eventually, once I get to working on the new books, finishing the contract with Vladimir, there's going to be a lot of time needed for making sure the books get done properly again in English and all that. So your support directly invests in the movement. I'll just drop a link to the fundraiser again. If you guys want to have me doing this stuff full time, uh, as the first real paid staff person, I would love to do that for you. But anyway, thank you all for being on the call. I'll drop the link one more time. Gabriel, I'm good for $100 a month. That would mean the world. I mean, w- I've done the math. I'm doing all these different roles. I'm like the executive director, event host, website developer, technology, all those things, community manager, marketer, book publisher, all those things. And I'm just looking for $3,000 a month, man. I'm asking for like a Starbucks employee salary just so I can do this for you guys. No one's getting rich here. We're just looking to make this thing happen. But anyway, how did everybody enjoy the call? That was amazing, huh? That was incredible. We're trying to find our way here with this. I'm looking forward to doing more of these in the future, but my mind was blown the whole time. Uh, that Guys, this is the future here. This is the future. We have the platform to feature these kinds of products, these kinds of projects, right? And we have all of the community members who want to join, and the initiative and the willpower to make these things happen. And so it's my honor to be able to facilitate something like this. Um, and the support of all you guys and watching this thing grow over time. I don't know how often I'm going to do these. Maybe there's enough volume and like projects out there to where this can be a monthly thing, but I imagine it's at least a bi-monthly thing. If you guys hear about any settlements and projects or you have any of your own, feel free to reach out to me because this is a big research project. We are not even one of the big things that I want to do is to be able to reach all the readers who don't know that we exist. There's so many readers out there who don't know that the foundation exists or any of these opportunities are there. So if we're able to expand on social media and YouTube and reach more of these people, we can accelerate the growth of all of this, right? And so this is a big goal. But look at what we're doing now. Like 50 of us here for 2 hours, I think is a great start. And whoever is going to view this on YouTube. But incredible stuff. And yeah, I don't know if I have anything left to share. If anybody would like to take the time to support the fundraiser, I'll just give it a moment there. If anybody feels called to support in that way. Yeah, any feedback, anything? Um, well, I also shared the link for the founding initiative application. And if anybody wants to email me, you can email hello@anastasia.foundation about this, and I can get back to you. I'm also at Pristine Origins on Telegram, so you can message me on Telegram. Still trying to figure out how to get these things going, but man, what an epic call. Beautiful work that everyone is doing. Thank you again to our presenters, Daniel, Vlad, and David. Thank you for everybody making the time to be here. Grateful for you all. There's person who I really look up to. He likes to say, many hands make a miracle, right? Many hands make a miracle. All of us coming together to work together and co-create, right? This is it. This is it right here. Um, I don't know necessarily what else to say. We've gone past the 2 hour mark. Um, yeah, maybe I guess we can wrap it up. I guys keep a lookout on our website and our email list, the event calendar for when the next one of these will happen. I will post the recording on YouTube soon, probably with like some kind of summary and links to everybody's websites and things like that, contact links and everything like that. Um, Feel free to contact me. I want to get that settlement directory done so bad. I've been thinking about it every day. I've been thinking about it every day since I started working on it. It's been almost 2 years, more than 2 years since I started working on it. But that will change everything for us. The amount of visibility that new settlements can get, right? Being able to facilitate the development of these settlements, helping people connect with them, learn more about them, the visual proof of the movement, because maybe in a lot of people's minds, they think, oh, the Ringing Cedars, all the spiritual stuff, or there's these communities. No one knows what's actually going on the ground. Right? There's hundreds of communities in Russia. Even the way that they have it represented on the Russian Anastasia Foundation website wasn't that great. You have to manually submit your details to them. Someone might update it, and it's not a great representation. The platform that I'm building, people can log in, you can manage it yourself. It's all super modern, beautiful, easy to use. The legitimacy that this can bring for the movement, the discoverability for settlements, connection ability, and then becoming like a legitimate source of information. I'm going to publish statistics and things about the growth of settlements over time. The foundation will become a bit of an academic institution. People will come to us for information about Kins domain settlement development. There is no source for data on that anywhere. When economists are writing their papers about the future and settlements and things like that, and they want to reference the English speaking world, they'll come to us, right? Like we can really change the world with this platform. But enough of me. Thank you all for your support. Thank you for being here. Thank you for your time. I don't want to go, but I guess we gotta. And I'll see you guys on the next one. Thank you, everybody. Please support the fundraiser, by the way. I'll just throw that in there one more time. Your support is tremendously appreciated. Direct investment in the movement and buying back my time that's needed to get all these projects done, continue facilitating the community, doing everything that we're doing here, growing and expanding this, right? What if we do the next call and we have 100 people? What if we do the next one, we have 200? These are all eventualities. These are all inevitable things. This is all small for now, but it'll be huge. It's huge now, but it'll be bigger in the future. Much love. Um, Thank you, everyone, so much for your time. Um, yeah, thank you for all the love in the chat and the support. Good night, good morning, wherever you are. Take care, everyone. Oops, how do we stop?